Welcome to the Nushajan Ashpazkhane. Today our dish is eggplant stew, which is we call it khoresht-e Bademjoon. Get ready. Making the eggplant stew, and I like this long one because it doesn't have seeds, and just make sure that it's all solid. When you pick them up, cut the top. I like to use my peeler, that way you don't waste them. And just to start peeling them. And then you can cut them the way you want. There's no doing right or wrong with it. And I like to cut them a little bit smaller, that way it's easier to pick them up, put them on your plate. And what you can do, this one I'm going to do just 2, and then we cut them lengthwise. Okay, when all the eggplant is being cut, the same size that you want, just add a little bit of salt and leave them to stay about 20 to 30 minutes. While the eggplants are resting, you can start cutting your meat. That could be lamb or it could be beef, whatever. I like them this size, but there's no right or wrong doing it, whatever size you like it. And you can start cutting those. That way you can cook those, because it takes about 45 minutes. Now, to prepare your meat, you're going to cut your onion and dice them the way you like. Some people, they do them on the board. I just like to do them on the pan. It's just your prefer. And cut them the small sizes. We're going to just saute them. When the onion is ready, get your heat on. And then now add the oil. And let your onion to stay in a little bit before you start moving them around. That way they don't get watery and soggy. Let them still, just to stay. Because if you start shaking them up, water comes out of them. But if you stay like that, hold bishan behtere. After like about 4 minutes, you can start stirring them. Oh, we have to wait till this gets golden. When your onion is golden and ready, and this is, again, there's no right and wrong doing it, as long as they are softened enough. But then you're going to start adding your meat. Start moving them around, that way they don't stick in the bottom of your pot. And you're going to saute them till all the redness is gone. Like about 3 minutes. Just turn them around to get all kind of brownish. At this time, you can add your seasoning. We have a turmeric. This is a Persian curry. We call them Advieh. It's not as strong smell as the curry is. Black pepper. And the salt is to taste. It could be more or less, it depends. But I started with less, that way you can add more if you want later on. After the fragrance comes out of your seasoning, you know your meat is almost ready. Now, this time, you get your tomato paste. And you want to kind of a little bit stir them together. That way, it gives it a little bit more flavor with all those seasoning in the bottom of your pot. Now, at this time, you're going to add water. This is when it's going to leave it for 45 minutes to cook. You want to make sure that you have enough water to cover the top of your meat. That way they all will be cooked evenly. I'm adding more. It's going to cook probably about 3 to 4 cups. It depends on the size of your pan or the size of your meat. It's like for how many people you are cooking. Mine took about 3. You can add more if later on you see if it's less, but for now it's good. You let it to start to come to the boil, and then you're going to turn it down and put the lid and let it cook for 45 minutes. While that is cooking, then you can start frying your eggplant. Okay, you see the water start boiling? Now it's about time for you to turn it lower heat and just put the lid on top of it and let it to simmer and cook for about, depends on your meat, but it's usually about 30 to 45 minutes. Meat is cooking. You put your pan on the stove, and then you get a paper towel and start getting the little sweats out of your eggplant. Put them on your pan. I don't add the oil for now. I'll do it a little bit later to get them a little bit more crispier. And that way I don't put too much oil in my eggplant. Make sure your pan is on a high heat. That way they cook fast, like about maybe 5 to 10 minutes on each side. Meanwhile, I'm going to dry this and put them in here, make them ready for the next batch, because you don't want to overcrowd it too much, because you want to make him fry evenly. Yeah, when it's the wild water gone, you can add the oil. It's not like a frying French fries. They don't have to be fried all the way, because they're gonna cook with the tomato and the meat later on. Don't get it. They stuck to my pan. You guys not putting that in there, are you? Okay, when the eggplants are like golden on both sides, and it's time for you to take them out and put them on your plate, They're going to be ready for when the meat is cooked to go back in the pot. Okay, now we have the 2 tomatoes. Take the top part out, and then you're going to slice them. We're going to put them next to the eggplant because these are going to go back in the pot at the same time. Okay, have these ready, and we're going to wait for the meat. Now you will check it. The water should be like about 1/3. You see the meat and the onion, and then when you pick it up, kind of put it in your pan. You push it. See how the good meat is like so tender and cook all the way. And if you guys don't have time to put it on stove for that long, if you have a pressure cooker or instant pot, you can put it in there for like 25 to minutes. It will be cooked. Now what you're gonna do, you're gonna incorporate your eggplant and tomatoes, and you're gonna let them simmer together on a low heat for like about 10 to 15 minutes, not too long. It depends on your eggplant. If your eggplant is cooked all the way, like 10 minutes. If your eggplant was like fried halfway, you can put it like for 20 minutes. Nice tomato time. These are the Roma tomato. You can do the big one. You can do the cherry tomatoes. Whatever tomato you have in your fridge that's getting soft, you want to get rid of, it will be the good one. And when you put all those in there, it's time for you to put your flavors, which is you can use lemon juice, you can use dry lemon. I have some, it says sour grape juice. If you have a season, and they sell them at Middle Eastern grocery store, the fresh sour grape, you can put like probably 1/3 of a cup in there, just like a handful of it, and just let it cook at this time. Push them in the water, that way they get all the flavor in. Gonna let it shake it. Low heat. Put the lid back. We check back in 15 minutes. Dinner or lunch will be ready. Okay, it's about, what, 5 or 10 minutes. And as you see, and then like if you want less water in it, if you don't want it, if you can have it a little bit more, the water go out. But if you like it more juicier, you can have it at this time. But everything is cooked, and it should be this way. And the meat, tomato, and the eggplant, they're all ready to be served. Okay, now our stew is done. You can serve this with the rice, and it could be any kind of rice. As we Persian, we eat all different kind of rice. Today we have it with the shivit bagale, which is like a beans and rice in dill. These are like the potatoes that we put on the bottom, and this is our salad. Okay, now you can Nusha John.